Let's talk about three of the most common trauma responses in a relationship that lets you know someone has unhealed past wounds. It's important that you're aware of these. So if you notice your partner responding in these kind of ways, you can navigate the situation better and you can actually help the circumstance instead of hurting it more. Because the first thing we do when our partner is like tripping or being negative or whatever the case is we take it personally as an attack on us. And you get defensive and you do stuff that makes things worse than making it better. When really the core issue had nothing to do with you. It was something that they were dealing with internally that they're not actually maybe aware of fully or can't articulate to you just yet. The first trauma-based response is avoidance and withdrawal, to where anytime your partner is faced with conflict or emotional intimacy where they have to like be open and invested in the things, they withdraw, right? They pull back. They're more hesitant about it. They try to avoid it at all costs. They steer clear of it. And you'll notice these in different kind of ways. They also may become very distant whenever you want to talk about the serious stuff or the things that have emotional significance and stuff like that, right? To where usually they're talkative, but now it seems like they're ice cold and far away when you try to talk about the stuff that really has emotional investment that's required. Or they may refuse to engage in the conversations altogether. They might shut it down, get extremely defensive and say, no, why are you always going to talk about this stuff? And just completely dismiss the idea of having those conflict conversations or those conversations that require you to touch on some sensitive areas. All defense mechanisms to protect themselves from having to face unhealed wounds, things they never fully addressed. And so by you bringing this, invested thing they have to open up about, you're making them face something they're not ready for yet. This is also a big sign of someone that has an avoidant attachment style because they've learned way young to be autonomous and taking care of their emotions and things, not to have to open up and face them and go into the sensitive areas, right? And so whenever you make them have to invest into that and have to put something on the line, then now it's a scary space for them and they will rebel and push against you. And that's where it can feel like they're attacking you, but in reality, they're trying to fight against you, making them put themselves in a position to be hurt emotionally from facing something they're not prepared to. The second big trauma response is hypervigilance or overreactivity. And see, this is on the other end of the spectrum. They don't become necessarily quiet, mute, and distant like in the first trauma-based response. With this one, they turn up. They get hype. They become very easily triggered by things just as simple as certain words that sets them off. And then they might become very angry, start yelling and screaming at you. Or they might start becoming really panicky, right? To where their anxiety is really high all of a sudden. Or they become paranoid and always looking around for signs of betrayal or that you're going to betray their trust or, stab them in the back or something. All because they have an unhealed wound or wounds that are painful enough to them that the words that they've heard or the thing they saw trigger something that resembled that experience they had, and it's got them on high alert now. And the third giveaway response is attachment issues or codependency, where those unhealed wounds start to manifest themselves through that person in a very, insecure way, where, a lack of self-love and validation way to where they start to become kind of clingy to their partner and overly reliant on their partner for a sense of self-validation and sense of certainty that they should be providing to themselves. And this is a process that makes it hard for them to form secure attachments to their partner and other people, which is a key piece as to how people develop anxious attachment styles, which develops into things like fear of abandonment or becoming overly dependent on their partner for emotional support on a level that they should be able to give to themselves. And this is also how jealousy starts to sprout up. All insecurities spawn from an unhealed wound that, for whatever happened in that experience, told them or taught them that they are not worthy of being loved or are not enough for people. And so let me say this. Someone that is exhibiting these kind of responses or one of them or whatever the case is, it is on them to champion for doing the work for themselves. And they have to do that work when they're ready to do it. But you also don't have to just wait by and be, on for the ride, right? You deserve to have the happy relationship you want to have as well. But you have to be a supportive partner too, right? So you can't force them to do anything they don't want to do. But if you're going to help them, you're going to have to be their rock. You're going to have to be the solid foundation if they're not able to be it yet, if you're going to stay in this relationship. See, this is why I always champion for, hey, don't get into a relationship with someone until they've healed these wounds already. Don't go trying to fix people and all that stuff because it does not work and it's more stressful, more of a destructor for you. You build resentment, all sorts of things happen. You get worn down and that person's not taking the right steps. But what you can do is always be a foundation to give them a platform to speak open and honestly, create safe environments, let them know, hey, you can share with me, you can open up, share something vulnerable yourself and show them through action that it's okay to open up about certain things, right? Ask them better questions. Ask them, hey, What are you scared about looking into certain stuff? Or just someone that, turns up on you whenever you try to say certain things or certain trigger words. Hey, why do you get so upset? And keep it in the same kind of tone I'm talking in, nice and calm, right? Because you have to mirror the type of energy and experience you want them to try to mirror to you. People typically tend to mirror and match the more positive frequency as long as you are able to stay in it long enough. They will match that energy more than staying all turned up and angry by themselves. So if they do the rah rah, don't get triggered yourself. Just let them have their moment. You know what's going on. You know there's something that's deeper rooted. Hey, you okay? Why are you talking to me that way? Ask them sensible questions to make them challenge their own actions as long as you're not doing stuff on your end to help them further validate their toxicity at the moment and them doing things that isn't healthy for the relationship. And always encourage them to do things to champion for their own self autonomy, things to, take on those internal wounds. If they're not willing to do with you yet, not ready yet, go get the help, go get the counseling, go get the therapy and so forth. But take time to yourself to at least address yourself. And then I'm here if you're ready to come and open up about things, right? Be the support system. But you cannot do the work for them, and you can't keep sticking around and coddling someone that doesn't want to put the work in it. You know the difference when someone's trying versus when they're just kind of, being codependent on you. But if you and your partner are in this situation and you don't know what to do and you love your partner to pieces, you don't want things to fail, and you guys don't have the tools, come to me for help. Come get the coaching. Let me get you guys there like I've done for so many of my clients in the past. Just DM me coaching and we'll get to work. Let's get it.